Greetings, friends. My name is Vitali and I am a product manager at Maytoni. In this video, we will get acquainted with such a product as a magnetic track busbar. We will highlight such points as the structure and principle of operation of a magnetic busbar, the range of lights presented by Maytoni, built-in and surface-mounted installation schemes. We will learn how to calculate projects using a magnetic busbar and answer to frequently asked questions, and we will analyze our customers' mistakes when using this product. The structure and principle of operation of the Maytoni magnetic busbar. Maytoni magnetic busbar is the second-generation busbar. The main difference from the first-generation busbar is that the first-generation busbar conductors are flat and located on the rear wall of the profile. This leads to two problems. One, this is that the client visually sees the conductors in the installed form, and two, this is the limitation of cutting as the conductors are flat and located on the boards. Maytoni busbar solves both of these problems. As the conductors are located in pairs opposite each other in the profile depth, the user does not see them in the installed form on the ceiling. Also, the similarity of this design with the classic three-phase busbar allows you to cut it anywhere, respectively. The problem of cut-in is solved. The lights in the Maytoni magnetic track busbar are powered by 48 volts DC, so we need a driver. We connect the driver from a mains of 230 volts 50 Hz, after which we power the magnetic track busbar using the power lead-in. The presence of 4 conductors in the Maytoni busbar allows you to divide the lights into 2 independent groups or use 2 conductors for control via DALI or 010 protocols. By default, the base of the light has a power circuit that allows it to be powered from both pairs of conductors from the top and from the bottom. If you need to divide the lights into 2 independent groups, you tell the manager which lights should be in which group, and we change the power circuit laid down in the light base. After that, the light will be powered either from the top or from the bottom pair of conductors, and it will be possible to control the lights from a 2-button switch. The Maytoni product range includes 2 busbar types, for built-in and surface-mounted installation. The built-in busbar is used in ceilings with plasterboard. The surface-mounted busbar can be mounted on any kind of surface, or used with rope hangers. The TR012-013 series is equipped with a matte opal diffuser and has a 120 degrees light diffusion angle. These lights are perfect for basic lighting. The TR012 series is available in 3 sizes: 15, 30 and 60 centimeters. The TR013 series is available in 2 sizes and can adjust the direction of the luminous flux. Lights of the TR014-015 series are equipped with a reflective diffuser and have a light diffusion angle of 30 degrees. These models are perfect for arranging accents. The TR015 series has the ability to adjust the direction of the luminous flux in any direction. Lights from the TR016 series are available in the form of a cylinder and have a diffusion angle of 30 degrees. Lights from the TR017-018 series are globe-shaped, on a rigid fixture and a suspension. These lights have diffusion angle of 120 degrees and are suitable for basic lighting. The lights of the TR019 series are available in the form of a 7, 13 and 18W floodlight. These lights are perfect for accent lighting, illumination of pictures or workplaces. Lights for the Maytoni magnetic track busbar, in addition to magnets, are equipped with mechanical clamps. Heavy models are also equipped with additional push-button clamps that increase the reliability of fixing the lights in the busbar. In order to install the lights into the magnetic track busbar, they must be inserted into it until click. In order to install lights equipped with push-button latches, you must press the buttons, insert the light until it clicks and release the buttons. The light can then be moved along the busbar. Lights for Maytoni magnetic track busbar have a high color rendering index of 90, which ensures realistic color rendering of illuminated objects. Also, all lights from the range are supplied in 2 color temperatures, 3000K and 4000K, which corresponds to warm light and neutral light, so you can find exactly what you need. Let's see the installation of the Maytoni magnetic busbar in a built-in way with 1 and 2 slabs of gypsum plasterboard. In one picture you can see the installation using 1 slab of gypsum plasterboard. To do this, we need to install a ceiling profile on the ceiling using suspensions. Fix the Maytoni magnetic busbar on it and cover it with a gypsum plasterboard slab, then we make the finishing. In cases with 2 gypsum plasterboard slabs, first we install the first gypsum plasterboard slab 12 mm, then we install the profile and cover the profile with 2 gypsum plasterboard slabs. All this is fixed with screws to the ceiling profile. This layout is the most preferable, since it is more durable, and the likelihood that cracks will appear at the junction of the busbar and gypsum plasterboard during operation decreases. Consider 2 ways to install Maytoni built-in magnetic busbar with 1 and 2 gypsum plasterboard slabs. To install with 1 gypsum plasterboard slab, we need to install a ceiling profile on the ceiling using hangers, then insert the wire that we will use for power supply into the busbar. Install the busbar using self-tapping screws on the ceiling profile, and then install a 12 mm gypsum plasterboard slab over the profile, then we make the finishing. The installation of a built-in busbar with 2 gypsum plasterboard slabs occurs in a similar way. The only difference is that we need to install a gypsum plasterboard slab on the ceiling profile. Then on the top we install a built-in magnetic busbar and cover it with 1 more gypsum plasterboard slab 12 mm. Then we make the finishing. In order to mount the busbar using the surface-mounted method, we need to place the clamps for surface mounting in the intended installation place. Then we insert the pro-power cable into the busbar, apply the busbar to the clamps for surface mounting and turn the levers, after which the busbar is fixed. To mount the surface-mounted busbar, we need to use a rope hanger. We assemble the rope hanger, insert it into a special groove located on the rear of the busbar, after which we fix the mating part of the rope on the ceiling. Insert the cable itself into it, adjust the height, insert the power cable into the busbar, close the busbar on both sides with plugs. The installation is complete. So, let's take a look at the diagram of built-in and surface-mounted magnetic busbar installation and those components that we need for this. In this picture, you can see a diagram of a built-in surface-mounted busbar. In each separate section of the busbar, we need a power lead-in. With the help of the power lead-in, we supply power to the conductors of this busbar. You can see it in the diagram here. We also need to start and end each section of the busbar with end caps on both sides. To connect 2 straight sections of the busbar, as you see here in the diagram, we use 2 connectors. One is a connector that connects the busbar itself and the aluminium profile itself. 2 is a direct power connector. The direct power connector connects the conductors in sections 1 and 2 of the busbar. So let's start with the built-in magnetic busbar diagram. The first thing I would like to start with is that in each section we must have its own power lead-in through which we will supply power to the busbar. Also, each section begins and ends with an end cap. Next, I would like to consider ways of connecting busbars. We have several of them provided for in this option. The first is a direct connection. For a direct connection, we need a straight connector and a direct power connector. The straight connector connects directly to the aluminum profile. The direct power connector connects the conductors in sections 1 and 2. To connect the busbar at a right angle on a plane, we need an angled connector and an angled power connector. With the help of an angled connector, we again connect the busbar itself. With the help of an angled power connector, we connect the power supply. We connect the conductors in these busbars. To connect the busbar, for example, passing from the ceiling to the wall, we need to use an internal connector and an angled power connector. With the help of the internal connector, we connect the busbar itself. With the power connector, we connect the power supply. As many of you have already noticed, we always use 2 connectors each. This is a rule. We always need to connect both the busbar itself and the power in this busbar. Next, we have one more type of connector. This is an external angled connector. If our busbar is turned round the corner, We also use the external angled connector and the angled power connector here. On this slide you can see the complete set of the built-in magnetic busbar. This is the busbar itself, 1 and 2 m long, end cap, straight connector, angle connector, internal and external angle connector, as well as a decorative overlay. Let's look at the diagram of surface-mounted magnetic busbar. To fix it, we need a clamp for surface mounting. We place this clamp along the entire length of the busbar. After we have assembled the entire system, we apply them to these clamps, turn the levers on them, and the busbar is fixed. Now let's look at the components that we will use for the surface-mounted magnetic busbar. Just like each section of the magnetic busbar being built in must begin and end with an end cap, in each section of the busbar we must have our own power lead-in. Next, let's move on to the connector. In order to connect two straight busbar sections we need a straight connector and a direct power connector. The straight connectors here are different from the built-in magnetic busbar. We use the same direct power connector. To rotate another 90 degrees on the plane, as you can see in the diagram, we use an angled connector and an angled power connector. To turn from the ceiling to the wall and vice versa, we use an internal angle connector and an angled power connector. All connectors that connect the busbar itself are different from those that we use for the built-in magnetic busbar. We use the same power connectors. Let's take a look at the components of the surface-mounted magnetic busbar. This is the busbar itself, 1 and 2 m long, a straight connector, an angled connector, an internal angled connector and a rope clamp. The rope clamp is supplied separately as it can be used not only with a rope, but also with a rigid locking element. For suspended mounting, we use a rope hanger, and you can also use a decorative plug. The decorative plug is universal. It can be used for both built-in and surface-mounted busbar. Also here you can see the power lead-in and power connectors. They are universal and are used for both built-in and surface-mounted busbars. So, how to cut a magnetic busbar? First, cutting is done at a 90 degrees angle using professional equipment such as a miter saw. After we have carried out the cutting according to the design size, we need to tame the conductors and crimp them into the guides. This is necessary so that the current carrying conductors do not touch each other and the power is connected precisely by the power connector. This is necessary to exclude sparks from contact of conductors. So let's take a couple of examples with you and calculate a couple of projects on a magnetic busbar. For a start, let's take the simplest option. Our busbar is located on one plane and consists of two sections. It is 1.7 meters and 1 meter. In order to assemble such a busbar, we need two plugs that will be installed here and here. Busbar 1 meter and 2 meters long and angle connector. We will also need to install an angled power connector in the busbar, and this busbar must also have a power lead-in. The power lead-in can be located anywhere in this structure. So we take a meter-long busbar, take a 2-meter-long busbar, cut off 30 centimeters from it, assemble it all using an angled connector and an angled power connector, and then connect it all to the driver. Let's say we have here 3 lights with a power of 20 watts. The total power of these lights is 60 watts. So with a 10% margin it will be 72 watts, which means that a 100-watt driver will be enough for us. Let's take a look at what components we need to create a square or rectangle. Let's say we have a request to create just such a square, in which each side will have 6 m. To understand how much busbar we need to divide it into segments of which it will consist. These segments will consist of 2-meter-long sections of the bus bar, respectively. We need 1, 2, 3. 12 pieces. Also, these sections of the bus bar must be interconnected, respectively. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 8 straight connectors and direct power connectors. We need power to be supplied to our bus bar, respectively. We need a power lead-in. We can place it anywhere. We also need to connect the angles of the bus bar. For this we need 4 angled connectors and 3 angled power connectors. Why 3 angled power connectors? Because these sections are connected using a direct power connector, and if we do not set one, for example, this angled power connector, then as you can see, power will still come to this section from 2 sides. That is, in this part we can save on this. And let's look at a slightly more complex option for installing a built-in magnetic bus bar. Suppose we received a request to install a bus bar in such a form. It goes down the ceiling along the wall, turns on the wall, and turns round the corner. Let's consider what we need for such a bus bar. Firstly, the dimensions. Let's say here it will be 3.5 meters. 3.5 meters, let it be 3 meters and 2 meters. Again, we also need to divide the bus bar into sections. We get 2 meters, 2 meters, 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters, 1 meter and 2 meters. Thus, we will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need only 1 meter long section. We also need power lead-in and then we need to calculate the connectors with you. Straight connector 1, 2, 3. 3 straight connectors and 3 direct power connectors. Then we count the angles. Here we will have an internal angled connector, since the ceiling is moving to the wall. Here we just need an angled connector, since the bus bar turns on a plane. And here we need an external angled connector, because the bus bar turns around the corner. Also, for all these connectors, we will need 3 angled power connectors. Just like any other bus bar, it must start and end with end caps. 2 end caps. Here is the entire list of what we need to assemble such a bus bar. Also, of course, we need a driver of appropriate power and lights. So now we will answer the frequent questions that our customers have. We will touch upon the points that you need to pay attention to when installing a magnetic bus bar. Firstly, this product is not as simple as all other lights, and it is imperative to read the instructions before installing it. If you install it without knowing the nuances that are described there, you can simply damage the product and it will not work. Second, when installing a magnetic bus bar, be sure to make an access panel in the wall. This is necessary so that if the driver requires maintenance or replacement, then you do not have to break the wall. Third, as I said earlier, after cutting the bus bar, we need to crimp the conductors. I will show you what I mean. Here you can see how conductors run opposite each other in the bus bar in such a plastic sheath. We need to use nippers to shorten them by about 5 mm, then insert them into the bus bar and crimp these 2 guides. Thus, the conductors will be fixed and will not be able to move along the bus bar and touch the current carrying conductors in the neighboring area. It is also an important rule that through one power lead-in we can connect lights with a total power of no more than 400 watts or a bus bar section no more than 20 m long connected by connectors. Busbar must not be allowed to deform. If we allow deformation during transportation or during installation, then in the event of a bending of the busbar inward, we will not be able to simply put a light in it. Either we will have to reinstall it or we will have to uncrimp it, and in this case we have the opportunity to damage the putty or damage the lacquer coating of the busbar. Through one power lead-in, we can connect two groups of lights. This power lead-in itself can be connected from one driver and be opened by a 2-button switch. Or we can connect the power lead-in from two drivers and also open it through a 2-button switch. Also, customers frequently ask if we can connect two busbar sections from one driver if they are, for example, in one room. Yes, it is possible. The main thing is that the total installed power of the lights corresponds to the power of the driver, and driver should has a margin of 20%. Now we will analyze the frequently asked questions that come to us from our clients. Question 1. Is it possible to install our magnetic busbar in a stretch ceiling? So far, the answer is no, but in the near future such an opportunity will appear. Stay with us. 2. The question that comes to us is whether it is possible to connect the busbar at a non-standard angle. That is, not at an angle of 90 degrees. Yes, this can be done by sawing it on a miter saw at the required angle. In the case of a surface-mounted busbar, we will need to look at the clamps for surface mounting located on a plane at an appropriate angle and make the profile visually fit to each other and connect. It will be securely fixed with a latch. We connect the power supply with the power connector. In the case of a built-in magnetic busbar, we also saw it on a miter saw at the required angle. Then we place the ceiling profile on the ceiling in a suitable way so that we can mount it at the angle we need. We fix it to the ceiling profile and it no longer needs additional fixation there. We also connect the power supply with the power connector. And the third question that frequently comes from our customers is whether we can supply lights with DALI and 010 protocols. Yes, we can do it on request. You form your request, send us, we will answer you about the delivery time and price for this model. So now we will look at the elements of our magnetic tracking system. We'll see how they dock together and what function they perform. These are power connectors. As I said earlier, they perform the function of connecting power between two sections of the busbar. This connector is used to connect straight sections. This connector is used for angled connection. The power lead-in is the same connector only without a mating part. Here you can see how they are installed in the busbar. We need to take this connector, in this case, press the button, and insert it into the busbar until click. As you can see, the connector is fixed. In order to remove the connector, we also need to press the button and pull it out. Lights are inserted in the same way. We supply this light in a buttonless version. Also, there are models with buttons. To install it in the magnetic busbar, we need to immerse it and press it until click. That's it, the light is installed, then it can be moved and it will glow. We use connectors to connect busbar sections. Here you can see the straight connector. The straight connector consists of two of these plates. They are supplied without bolts, fixed by the elements on them that cling to the metal. The connector is inserted into a special groove in both busbars. Then we just take and move two busbars together until bumping. That's it, they are fixed and cannot be removed. For a surface-mounted busbar, the connection occurs in the same way. We have such a plate that acts as a straight connector, and it is inserted into a special groove on the back of the busbar. Then it is fixed with bolts. This connector is used as an angle connector, and you can see that it connects the busbar on a plane at a right angle. If we look at the base of the light, we can see that it has 4 contacts, 2 on each side. As I said earlier, in the basic version, all these contacts are connected to the internal driver of the light, and no matter which of the conductors is connected, top or bottom, the light will still work. But if we want to divide the lights into 2 independent groups, you inform our manager and we divide the lights into 2 groups by changing the power circuit laid down in the base of the light. And the light starts to be powered either from the upper pair of conductors or from the lower one. If we need to use lights with DALI or 010 protocols, then we use the lower pair of conductors as control wires. Maytoni busbar is delivered in a paper tube, of such a kind. This packaging is very reliable and excludes the possibility of deformation of the busbar during transportation.